Hi, Michael. How are you?
Good, Alice. How are you doing?
I'm so excited to see you again. I saw your talk decriminalizing walking and biking in KC, and it was such an important issue. It really opened my eyes. So, like jaywalking, why is that even a thing?
Yeah, jaywalking is really the result of a very successful PR campaign by auto manufacturers over 100 years ago to co-opt the street as something that's only for cars when it had been for everyone but cars before cars were even invented. As cars became more frequent on our streets, they were leading to an increasing and alarming amount of deaths. And auto manufacturers came up with the term jaywalking to basically push blame onto pedestrians and other people who were being killed. And the campaign was so successful that cities actually adopted laws codifying the idea of jaywalking and punishing people for doing it. And BikeWalkKC in Kansas City, Missouri took steps to try to change that. And so we were ultimately able to build a coalition to successfully decriminalize walking and biking in Kansas City. That ultimately led us to working with folks from the Safe Routes Partnership, including Marisa Jones.
They were not the first community to ever think about doing this, but they have been one of the first communities that has been successful at doing this.
We started talking and one thing led to another.
We felt like this was an amazing opportunity to highlight the work that they had done.
We decided, hey, we should put together a guide, how-to guide for taking on traffic laws.
For folks who do want to bring this kind of change to their community, what's in the guidebook?
So the guide, first and foremost, is a compelling and detailed recounting of the work that Michael and his colleagues in Kansas City did. And then it zooms out to a how-to guide. So we know from working with communities all across the country that they can hear stories and feel so inspired and then feel a little bit paralyzed and not know where to start. And so we really wanted to make this guide hold people's hands step by step through exactly what steps to take to decriminalize the laws that lead to racialized enforcement.
Are there other cities that have reached out to you about this issue?
Yes, there are.
We're hearing from a lot of communities that there's interest in this. One example of that is in Denver, Colorado. The Denver Bicycle Lobby has started having conversations with city council members.
As a person of color, as someone who lives in a zip code with missing sidewalks and gutters, and having experienced all of that and trying to get around our city, for me, it's about making my family, my community, as safe as everyone else.
A lot of times, Black and brown people are walking or biking in communities where they don't have good sidewalks or there's non-existent bike infrastructure. And so when we are punishing people for jaywalking or for other similar infractions, we're essentially punishing them for things that are outside of their control. And that's wrong.
And I think that's one of the really important pieces to open people's eyes to the lived experience of other people moving throughout our communities. Do we need this where I live? Like, just because something is not my lived experience as a white person doesn't mean it's not very real for other people in my community.
The data, if you have it, if your cities are capturing it, is clear. There's no good reason for it. So if we're committed to racial justice, then it's time to walk the walk.
I know that there's other organizations out there tackling this issue as well. We've been working with Leah Shaham from Vision Zero Network.
I think around the country, we're increasingly realizing that some communities have been disproportionately built for safety. Jaywalking and riding on those sidewalks are examples of places where it proves we didn't build a safe environment. So we have a lot of work to do, really making sure that the roads are designed for people's safety. We should not be leading with enforcement.
We haven't been investing in multimodal transportation as much as we should be. And we know that an emphasis on over-policing can lead to negative interactions between especially Black and brown people and the police. And so this is really at the intersection of both of those issues and gives us an opportunity to not only step away from over-enforcement, but to bring back the conversation to how can we invest in our streets to actually make them safe for everyone to use.
So it sounds like the big call to action here is to download the guide, learn a little bit more about the issue, and then engage your local elected officials.
It is so important to just take that first step of considering whether this could impact your community and starting to find your people who might be interested in exploring this with you.